Okay, looks like we are live. So, welcome into Tier 2 Round 4 at Daytona, Season 19 of ALR. And this is a little bit late, but we will be doing sort of a double, probably today and tomorrow, hopefully, to get us back on track. But we have an interesting race, very strategic racing, even Alessandro. Very strategic racing, especially in the sprint race. Got to know when to go for the move and where to go for the move. Let's see, what's the wind direction? We've got a good wind direction as well, so I should be looking at some pretty quick laps. So let's go through the grid quickly, because Fossey is actually on pole, which is very impressive, because he's sort of been lower end of the top 10 for a lot of this season. So putting it on pole, especially in Daytona in an Audi, is pretty impressive. Not really suited. It's quite a stable MR car, but still, they don't really suit this track. Then we've got Asseldor in second, who I think he's now a full-time driver, but at this point he was a reserve driver. I think it's his second appearance. I think his first one was in Interlagos, where he did well in the Beetle, so second, not particularly surprising. Has good top speed though. Yeah, true. The Audi does have a good top speed. As does the Mazda in third with Tin. So he's expecting a good result here. Home track for him. Or home-ish. I don't know where he is in the US, but at Daytona. Would expect to do well in the Mazda. BMW, it'll do well through the chicane, but its top speed really is not that great, and neither is its acceleration. So Higgsy getting P4 is another good job there. Arukis has had really good pace all season. It's just been hampered by spins and mistakes in the races, but he's in fifth in the Lambo. Again, impressive to be up there with that. Gilles having a bit of a better qualifying than normal in sixth in the GTR. GTR should have good top speed in the slipstream, because it does have good top speed. On its own, it kind of just gets into sixth and then stalls out a little bit. Backside in seventh in the AMG, should be pretty solid around here, next to his teammate in eighth, so AMG's together on the grid. Then we've got Scotty down in ninth, a little bit surprising. We've seen better results from Scotty so far, so maybe a little bit disappointed in ninth. Then we've got Isaac in 10th, which, is it his first race? What car is he in? He's in the AMG 16, I'm guessing. That is different, yeah. Just checking it is different to that one. Yeah, so that's a 16, which is actually probably a good pick around here, because it's actually fairly good on the straights, especially in terms of top speed. So I think we might be seeing him going flying past some people. Jack in the Ferrari, unsurprising that struggling. It's one of the most unstable MR cars still, I would say. So not surprising that he's not doing so good in the qualifying here. Should get a good start, so get into the top 10, and then we'll have to see if we can hold it, because top speed is not particularly great on the Ferrari either. Ross down in 12th, a little bit surprising. He does like Daytona. He's kind of where he's been qualifying with the GTR this season, but he does like Daytona. So I expect him, especially with a decent start, probably going to make his way forward into the top 10. Then Wack down in 13th, both the McLarens down towards the back. A little bit surprising, that's got very good top speed, especially in the slipstream. Astro down in 14th is a big surprise considering his teammates on pole. So maybe just not getting on with this track particularly. And then we've got X90G down in 16th, as is almost expected at this point. And he could be a top 5 for the sprint. Who knows? His qualifying has not been particularly brilliant, but his sprint races have been good and his feature races have been amazing so far. So we'll have to see where he can make his way up to. So let's get this race underway. Fossey on pole. I would expect maybe Tin to get into lead by turn 1. But lights are out. He's holding it for now, as long as he goes down to the inside early. No, he doesn't. Actually, Asseldor getting a great launch in the Beetle. Up into the lead. Tin is trying to go around the outside of Fossey into turn 1. Ooh, Fossey, whoa, Fossey's too wide. Oh, and there's been some sort of carnage in the background. Fossey is down to 5th. That's been a costly start, and Jack is up to 4th. And Backside is in 2nd. Okay, what has happened? Right, let's go on board. So AMG getting an insane launch to the inside, and there's just a nice gap that's opened up because Tin's moved to the outside. So that's great from... Let's see if we go on board with Jack. Oh, it looks like a Rukis, maybe? Looks like a little bit of just sort of lagging around, a little bit of ping-ponging around. Jack comes out of it unscathed, okay, in P4. And I'm guessing it must have been Prime Call that's been absolutely sent to the back of the grid by a distance. Shield down from 6th into 15th, so he's got the bad end of that as well. X9G, we've got up into P13. And we've got Ross just about in the top 10, not quite. He's fighting to get in the top 10, but Higgsy's lost out again massively. BMW not amazing off the line. Ross is up to 11th. X9G's already up into P12, up into P11 maybe. Trying to go all the way around the outside of Ross. Doesn't want to be up on the high line here though. Yeah, they look like that. It looked like initially a Rukis maybe made a mistake, maybe quite hit the invisible wall potentially. And then sort of went wide and everyone was just sort of lagging back and forth a little bit. But we've got a Rukis coming under pressure from Wack into the chicane. This is risky to go side by side. Is Wack going to get pushed out? Managed to keep it on track. Looks like he might lose the position to Higgsy though, but he has kept it on track. Still got a nose alongside. Yeah, it did look a little bit weird. It looked like he made contact with something that pushed him across the track a little bit. So that is to be expected. So we've got Wack holding on to that position, and Jack is now up into P3. So from P11 on the grid, ooh, he's late on the brakes. Is that going to send him wide? Yeah, it does send him wide. It's going to cost him 1-2 positions. Yeah, made the same mistake that Fossey did, just too wide, getting on the dirty part of the track, and then you just can't turn in. Especially with the Ferrari, it's not particularly stable under brakes, but it turns amazingly well, especially in this infield section, and that is in back up into P4 ahead of Fossey. But we've got Tin closing on P1 and P2. And the Beetle I know doesn't have the best top speed. AMG and the Mazda are probably fairly similar, probably with a slight edge for the Mazda. So if he can get a good run, it needs to be a little bit closer. Can get a good run, he could definitely get past at least Hasseldor, as long as he can stay close enough. It's very hard to break the slipstream around here. You've only got the first and second sectors really, and they're pretty short to actually break the slipstream. Got Half-Axad getting really close to the back of Hasseldor. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if these two just were bump drafting for the first couple of laps. Try and get a bit of a gap to some of the cars behind if they can, because you want this battle to be as small as possible when you actually start going side by side, because it can cost you a lot of time. So is Half-Axad going to bump him? Yeah, he does. Thought he might. 47.3, 47.2 for Hasseldor, and Tin losing a couple of tenths on that lap, but he's still within the slipstream range. The gap looks like it's appearing between P3 and P4. Jack doesn't look like he's got the slipstream from Tin ahead, although he's super late on the brakes there. Managed to hold the line around the outside and keep the position though. How we're looking. Doesn't look like anybody's going for a move into the top 3, so let's have a little bit of a drop down. Arukis is sort of making this 2 groups of 3 as Fossey looks for a late move. Couldn't quite make it work. Got Isaac in 7th. Wack fighting up into 8th. Scotty in 9th. And X9G in 10th at the moment. Although Scotty's just gone wide there. Not sure if I had any help. Ooh, can X9G get to the inside of Wack? No. But that's X9G up into 9th already, from 16th on the grid, so that's an impressive start. Then we've got Higgsy down in 11th still, Pyro in 12th, Ross has dropped a couple of positions into 13th, Astro, Gilles and then Prime Call bringing up the rear at the moment. Let's see, are these guys still working together? They're not pulling away from Tin though. Tin's managing to stay in that slipstream range. Now I've got to make a decision. Does he try and go for the move knowing that Tin is close behind and could go for the move himself? Because these three have definitely broken the slipstream to Jack. Yeah, Alphaxide pulling out to the outside. Honestly, probably has got enough overspeed to just get the move done anyway. Tin going to follow him through. It's up into P2, fully ahead, but he's on the outside. Ooh, does manage to get it stopped. Ooh, Alphaxide and Tin are both a little bit wide, but they've still got the inside for this hairpin, so they should be able to hold the position. Yeah, and they both do. I think Asador's backed out of it through that chicane. And you see how much time that cost. Now that they were all going side by side, Jackie's immediately right onto the back of Asador. Going purple as well, 28.6 in the first sector, which is a solid time. Whoa, Jack's too deep on the brakes. There's the rejoin. That's okay. Yeah, just a bit too late on the brakes there. I think he had to sort of keep straight to maybe avoid Asador. It does drop in position. Fossey back up into P4. And crucially, it looks like he's just about got slipstream to the leaders. But now we've got Tin right onto the back of our backside. Is our backside going to go to the inside to defend? No, but Tin is going to the inside. Getting close to completely alongside. Alphaxide later on the brakes. Everyone gets through there nice and cleanly, almost. I think Alphaxide just losing it on the grass there, but we're going to stick with this because we're now 3 wide in the banking. Fossey right up on the high line. Not really where you want to be. Sure, this is going to be Tin's into turn 1. Yeah, Asador has to drop behind. Jackie's now coming because he had the inside line, but actually Fossey's managing to... So that Audi really does have some good top speed. Managing to go all the way around the outside of everyone. Super late on the brakes. Yeah, nicely done. With Fossey up into the lead, so gaining 3 positions there. Tin holding on to second, Asador in third, Jack still in fourth. If Jack can still hold on to this position, it's still a great result from 11th on the grid. We've got Isaac being promoted up into 5th, X9G is now up into 6th. Yeah. They just got sort of bottlenecks in that chicane and he just floored him. I'm amazed he managed to go around the outside on the top of the oval though. That Audi must have some crazy top speed to manage that. Then we've got Isaac sort of in a bit of no man's land. He's got a gap in front, a little bit of a gap behind. X9G's had an amazing sprint race. Ross is now up into 8th, having been 13th not long ago. Who? X9G. X9G was last. He started 16th. So he's up into 6th already. Past his teammate. He's done this before. I think he did it in Suzuka. Almost the same thing. And then almost won the feature race at the end of it. Ross looks like he's going to hold this position in 8th. So we know Alphaxide has dropped positions down to the back. He's down in last now, unfortunately. Wax had some kind of... That's Wack who's gone missing. So Wack's down in 13th. Penalty maybe? 51.7. That looks like it could have been a penalty. Gilles trying to recover from whatever cost him on lap 1. Astro is really not getting on with this track with the Audi, especially compared to his teammate. Down in 14th and struggling. Fossey has got a little bit of a breakaway here from Tin. Asador briefly took P2, I think, just then. Maybe a little bit too late on the brakes into turn 1. And now Jack. Penalty maybe? Because usually the big time losses are like big time losses when you have a crash. So I think that might have been a penalty for Jack. Because if you pick one up at the chicane, you do serve it on the same lap. So it's hard to always catch whether it is. But he's late on the brakes again. Maybe getting caught out with the dirt. Yeah, maybe he's not. The wind has changed slightly. So it's more of a tailwind into there. So maybe that's just catching him out a little bit. But now we've got X9G up into 5th place. That's 11 places gained. And with Isaac just in front of him. Well, yeah, Fossey is actually driving away from everyone, which is crazy. Going purple at the moment. Yeah, 45.8 from Whack. With the help of Slipstream, a very good lap. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's struggling through the chicane, which is really the only place I'd say the Audi would maybe struggle. And he's managing to pull away from Tin. Tin's coming under pressure from Asseldor still. How is the Beetle in the Slipstream? Because we've seen it get past quite easily when it's been the one being attacked. Looks like Asseldor's just trying to bump draft for now. Yeah, and it looks like it is struggling to stay right behind the Mazda even when it's bump drafting him, so that lack of top speed is going to hurt it and going for moves. We've got X8G maybe up into P4. Not quite, looked like he was trying to go around the outside there. Couldn't quite make it. Still can't quite make it. Oh, but Tim makes a little bit of a mistake on the exit. Having a bit of a slide. Has the Beetle got enough to actually pull alongside? No. Tin, going to cover off the inside? No, just sticks to the racing line. Asseldor dives to the inside. Looks fine. Tin going a little bit wide there as well, so maybe the wind catching more people out than just Jack. But how easily is the Mazda just going to be able to power around the Beetle? Got 2.5 laps left to go. Most of the rest of this one is just the oval. Tin, he's still close. It doesn't look like he's closing in massively. Although now he is. You can see the difference there. The Beetle just like it hits a brick wall. But just can't go faster. Everyone getting through there nicely. Ooh, Isaac having a bit of a twitch. Jack's still up in P7 at the moment. Scotty up into P6. So can X9G get close to Isaac? Tin. He's not going for the move. Looks like he's bump drafting for now. Yeah, you see Isaac's not getting closed in by the Lambo. Lambo's not great on top speed either, but that 2016 AMG is very fast. And then we've got a big gap between 7th and 8th. Ross, now the lead of this little train. Rook is down into 9th. Oh, and that was Whack going for the move maybe on his teammate. And Astro's actually caught up to the back of this group, so he can start to make some progress with the slipstream now. Doesn't look like Prime Call and Arfax are going to be able to make any kind of progress unless there have been mistakes or big penalties coming. We've got Astro going side by side with Pyro. Looks like he's going to get this position. Yeah, looks like he's got it. Bit of a slide there for Pyro as well. Jack! Oh, has he gone wide again? Whoa! He's gone more than a bit wide. What happened there? Maybe he's just getting caught out by where other people are braking. Yeah, tries to go for the move, but just overcooks it massively. That's going to drop him down to 11th in the end, because Gilles going to get through. Almost. Jack's got the inside, but he's got dirty tyres. Yeah, has to brake so much earlier. Down to 12th now. And he needs to be careful on the exit. He needs to be careful through the chicane. As we've got Astro to his inside. I think he's going to lose that position as well to Astro. Oh, a little bit of contact there. Jack just trying to squeeze as much as he could, try and get some slipstream from the cars ahead. See how he gets through the chicane, and then we'll go and have a look back up at the front. It looks like Fossey is well and truly gone. Yeah, and he is. So great pace from Fossey. He's absolutely driving away from everyone in front. Tin, is he trying to get an idea of if he can get the move done by the start-finish straight? Because we're on to the final lap now. Doesn't want to go for it into turn 1. Yeah, you were really just struggling with that one corner. Oh, Tin's made a mistake. A little bit wide. Doesn't have damage or anything, so didn't hit the wall. But now he's coming under pressure from X19G. Manages to hold it off. So that promotes Isaac up into the podium. And 461 on the last lap takes a chunk out of Asseldor. He could potentially get P2 here. Yeah. He survived. That's doing enough. And I think somebody had a penalty. It must have been Pyro, I think. Maybe having a penalty. Ooh, 54. That's a big penalty if it was just a penalty. Oh yeah, Pyro dropping down. Got whack. Trying to fight his way into the top 10. Let's go back to this fight for P2 and P4 because Tin's not really in the slipstream from Isaac. No, I wouldn't say. So let's see if Isaac can get Asseldor. Fossey's got this one in the bag as long as he gets through the chicane cleanly. Isaac, he's close, but he needs a good run through the chicane. Ooh, I'm not sure he's close enough to get this. Tin is probably more under pressure than Asseldor is. He's definitely more under pressure than Asseldor is. Asseldor must have an amazing exit from there, but let's go on board with Fossey. Taking the sprint race win in dominant fashion, dropped down to P5, recovered back to P1. Great rest there from Fossey. Asseldor gets second, Isaac in third, and Tin is just going to hold fourth to the line. Head of X90G, who makes up 11 places to get into the top 5. Then we've got Scotty. Ross does hold on to 7th, so that's good for the reverse grid as well. Higgsy, Arukis and Gilles getting the last reverse grid spot. Whack, unfortunately, the first to miss out. Let's pause it before we lose everyone. So Whack in 11th, first to miss out on the reverse grid. Jack, unfortunately, down to 12th after being in, I think, 3rd was the highest at one point. But just that one corner in the middle sector kept catching him out and it cost him. Astro kind of dropped off the back. He did well to get back onto the pack, to be honest. Prime closed well. He closed up a lot to the back of the pack, but that spin at turn 1 kind of ruined his race. Then we've got Pyro and Arfaxad, others who possibly made mistakes. I'm not sure about Pyro. He lost a lot of time on lap 8, more than I would think for a penalty. So let's go and grab the feature race. We'll have to see what tyres everybody starts on because there are a couple of strategy options. One stop is basically a must, really. Pit lane is too long, even though they shortened it a lot since it first came out, because you don't have to drive the pit exit anymore. Kind of needs to be doing a one stop. So, are people going medium soft, or are people going for medium hard? Let's go through. Okay, so we've got Gilles on the medium. I would expect a lot of the FR cars to try medium soft. The MR cars, the McLaren should be fine doing medium soft, but Fossey and Astro, Arukis and X90G might have to go with the harder tyres. See, everybody on the medium tyres. Anybody going something different? Isaac. Okay, so Isaac in the AMG. The AMG, I haven't driven it to test the tyre wear recently, but a couple of updates ago it was pretty brutal on the tyres, so that makes sense. Fossey does have to go onto the hard tyres, so that's going to make his race really tricky to do any kind of get a similar kind of result in this race. Honestly, doing that strategy, being on a harder compound for the whole race, if he can get a top 10, that's still a good result, even if he's starting 10th, because I'm imagining a lot of these guys, Jack having to do hard tyres as well, not surprising, Astro, but then everybody else on the medium. So how many have we got? 3, 4 cars on the hard tyres. So they're going to have a big disadvantage for basically all the race, because I'm pretty sure they're going to go on medium tyres for the second stint as well. So Shield's going to lead his way. Had a good qualifying, some kind of incident at the start of the sprint race which dropped him back. But he's immediately coming under pressure from Arukis. Everybody single file. No, it looks like Asseldor trying to go for a move on Isaac, who's changed his livery. Or maybe it's just loaded this time. So So nobody, no positions changing there. Asador looked like he was dove to the outside of Isaac, but couldn't get the move done. The Rookies has managed to get past Gilles, so up into the lead. He's going to struggle to pull away because the top speed of that Lambo is not great, but we know he's got the pace. He's been in all season. It's been a question of whether he makes a mistake or not. So we'll have to see how that goes. Gilles still close in the slipstream in P2. Ross holding on to P4. Scotty, if that looks like X9G making a move on Scotty. And he's going to get that done because they're at the inside, and he's got the slipstream from Ross. And both the Lambo guys curiously going with the medium tyre. So they could be going mediums and then onto hards, or they're trying the medium soft strategy. As X9G goes to the inside of Ross. Still side by side. Ooh, a little bit of contact, but nothing in that really. Manages to get through, gets away without a penalty by the looks of it. Ooh, and Scotty getting a bit hung out to dry there. Tin, yeah, pull back in. Nope, come down. Yeah, there you go. Don't go up there, that's a mistake. Don't go up there. So now the top three have got a bit of a breakaway from this next group of four that are battling. See, now Tin's pulled out, that's fine, but Ross is going to cover you off to the outside surely, yeah, and he's going to potentially lose the position to Scotty. Oh, but he's super wide. Oh, who's that? I think that's Fossey going even wider. Oh, and oh, the Rukis. Oh dear. It really has been one of those seasons for Rukis. So that's a Rukis and Fossey going to be dropping down massively. Ross went super wide as well, so we've got Gilles now into the lead. Higgsy in second, X9G's up into third. So somehow he's turned his 16th in qualifying into a P5 in the sprint and now running P3 in the feature. Scotty in P4, Tin in P5s did lose that position. Then we've got Isaac Ross losing a couple of positions, just now breaking himself. Hard to do sometimes when you swap into a harder compound and you've got the slipstream, you just get it a little bit wrong. Wind direction still going the same way, but it's harder to judge. Got under pressure from Asador a little bit. Jack's made some progress up into P9, although he has gained 2 positions from guys behind making mistakes. So Rukis is down in last, but he's not too far off the back of the pack. So he's racing over, but he's just now got a lot of work to do considering he was leading. Arfax had got a 1.5 second penalty. As Pyro, that's Whack going past Jack. Fossey managed to recover in 12th, so it didn't go as bad as it could have gone. Whack did manage to get past Jack, who is on the hard tyres, so it makes sense. Oh, but Whack gets a 1 second penalty, that's going to cost him a position to Jack, and probably Prime Call, yeah, and Prime Call. Possibly Fossey as well. Penalties here are very harsh, because it's such a long flat out section. Where's Watt going to drop down to? Drop down to 10th, drop down to 11th. It looks like he might just lose that position to Fossey. Oh, and there's other people going for moves. Okay, but he manages to hold on. Held it well around the outside to only lose those 3, but that's not good, did? Yeah, well, Pyro hit the inside wall there, I think. And Navax's penalty has dropped him right back to Arukis. So, Gilles still leading. X9G's managed to close this gap in pretty nicely. Tin back up ahead of Scotty, so up into P4. And he's now the fastest driver from qualifying at the moment, up in P4. So the guys in front didn't qualify worse, although X9G, with his qualifying is almost essentially meaningless because he's not 16th fastest. I can tell you that for free. And he's getting close onto the back of Higgsy. You can see the difference in the tyre wear. Just looking at that rear right tyre, he's really starting to wear out a lot more. It's going purple. So given that that's how much more it's wearing, I think they could be going a medium hard, and they just wanted to be on the same tyre at the start instead of dropping back, which I think is a smart decision, if that's what they're going for. We'll have to see when they come in. I think the pit-in lap is 14, 15 or 16 maybe, depending on how far you can push your fuel, because that is also a limiting factor here. A lot of flat-out sections. Yeah, Scotty's dropped back quite a lot from the top 4 now. Got Isaac still holding on in P6, coming under pressure from Ross. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking based on... Ooh, Isaac didn't make contact with the wall, but he's on the hard tyres. Maybe just getting a little unstable. Is he going to lose the position to Prime Call as well? Looks like he might be. Ooh, no, he's still got the inside. But Prime Call, I believe, is on the medium tyres. He is, so he should be able to just get a better exit out of here. Or on the outside as well. Yeah, and Isaac has to pull back in. So Isaac now down into P10. Ooh, and Jack still going super deep in that corner. Just got to rein it back in a little bit. You want to hug just like as tight to the inside as you can, really. I mean, in the Ferrari you can take a little bit of a wider line as long as you hit the apex, because it turns so well. But the problem with the Ferrari is, as well, is that the rear tyres are going to go first, and it's going to make this chicane coming up even more sketchy, and even like the infield section, with more worn rears, even though they're not dead, it makes it a lot trickier. As X90G's actually made a mistake by the looks of it, because he's dropped off the back of Higgsy, and then Tin has managed to get through up into P3. So these guys, are these going to start working together? Yeah. Makes sense, especially on the banking. There's no point going to the outside, because you're not really going to be able to go all the way around the outside unless you've got a massive top speed advantage. They look like they're just working together for now. Want to close back into the top 2, because Higgsy's still got the slipstream from Shield, so he's probably pretty happy just to sit there for now, because sort the battling out at the second half of the race. Yeah, it's a good race from Higgsy so far, but he got a little bit messed up in the turn 1 incident in the sprint race, because he qualified P4, so this is more like where we were expecting him to be. But Tin getting a really good first sector, and he's closed up onto Higgsy. Should be within slipstream range there. I would say, if anything, he's starting to pull away from X9G, and they surely got to be going for the hard tyre after this. Because that rear right is looking rough. How quickly that's going down. Maybe. Depends how bad his tyre wear is. Because his tyre's looking good. So as long as he can max out the fuel, softs might go long enough that the fuel's not a massive issue. But you can see the difference in top speed. That Mazda just pulls alongside really nicely. Leave space. I'm impressed by how many good moves are being made into that chicane. It usually ends in disaster. Although it has messed up by Higgsy's exit something really bad. Gives Tin a massive gap, and Higgsy now coming under bit of pressure from X9G. Probably still going to be just working together. Yeah, see, 14.9 is doable, I think, for the BMW. Going 15 on fuel would probably be a struggle. But I think the tyre wear is good enough that it can still maybe manage it. And we've seen him and his teammate have pretty similar tyre wear, but he does look a little better at the moment. Oh, that was Hasseldoge going a little bit deep in P7, behind Ross up in P6. So Ross, after that one mistake, sort of settled down in 6, still with the pack. Then we've got Jack on the hards in 8, so he's doing a good job. Doing a good job so far. Let's see, can he get down to the apex? It looks like he did that time. It's a good start. We can see him sliding on the exit, and that just really heats up the rear tyres, even though it's night time. A little bit cooler. Those rear tyres start to overheat. It can be easy to just lose grip, even if they're not dead. But he's doing well to hold on to 8th at the moment. We've got Prime Cole making his way forward up into 9th. Wack also making a little bit of progress in 10th. Has already had a penalty, so he was a little bit higher than that. Then we've got the hard runners. We've got Isaac, Fossey, and then Astro, who's probably had some sort of incident with Arfaxad. Or maybe not with Arfaxad, but they've dropped back. Although their lap times are pretty consistent, so maybe they've not made a mistake at all. That's just what the pace on the hards. But then you've got Arukis and Pyro battling. Pyro, we saw, he's had some sort of mistake as well, and so did Arukis. So that's not good. A second mistake there. Arukis is definitely going to have to go onto the hards. His mediums are already almost half won after 6 laps. He's got to go on the hards for the second stint. There's no really any other option. Ooh, we've got a little bit of battle going on here for P5. Ross looks like he's got to the inside. Can he get it stopped? Yeah, got it stopped. Nassel does trying to take advantage to the inside of Scotty in turn 1 as well. Scotty's going to have the inside for the hairpin. Goes into the grass a little bit. But you can make the outside work because you can get a really good exit because it's so wide on the exit. Yep, still alongside. He's ahead. Looks like he's going to be fully ahead. Yeah, he is. BMW not great on traction either, so that definitely helped. So Astor now up into P6. On the back of Ross. So our first hard runner is still Jack. So doing well on the hards. Be curious to see when he comes in, because he can obviously go a lot longer on the medium tyres and the other drivers will be going on the softs. So he might be able to get an undercut and make a couple of positions. How will he be able to hold on to him with the Ferrari's top speed? I'm not sure. But it's one little advantage of being able to pit earlier. He's got to make the most of it while he can. As Prime Call closes up onto the back of him massively. White going a little bit deep into the background. Has a bit of a slide, but it doesn't look like he's going to get a penalty for that. Fossey was a little bit wide there, but he got a good run. And he doesn't get a penalty. But I'm curious just to stay with this. No, he can't. Maybe just because it's the 16 AMG, and that thing is fast in the straights as well. But I couldn't quite go around the outside like he did in the first race. Prime Call is surely going to get completely past. Yeah, he is. Hold the medium size, you would expect him to. Now, can he hold the position into turn 1? Yeah, looks like it. Jack closes up a little bit under braking, but ooh, looks like he have a slide again. The rear tyres are almost the same on Jack on the hard tyres as Prime Call on the mediums. That's how much worse it's wearing out its rear tyres, the Ferrari. Now we've got Ross coming in, a little bit of pressure from Asseldor. Ross's tyres holding on perfectly fine, basically the same as Asseldor. Fuel's basically the same as well. Actually, Asseldor's got even more. That's impressive because GTR is very good on fuel. But these guys just staying as a 3. That gap between the top 4 and these 3 are kind of holding pretty even. So I'm curious if Asseldor's just going to work together with Ross and keep Scotty there and then just try and slipstream their way up to the front if they can. As we've got Tin getting close to Gilles, but not close enough to go for the move. And nobody's looking to go for a move here as either. Everybody through there okay. Let's go back up to the front. Tin is getting close to Gilles now. Definitely in the slipstream. How's the fuel looking? Basically the same between them as well. I mean, if everybody's going to the same lap, they're all going to be fuel saving different amounts to go the same distance. So that might be why the fuel's basically the same. So Tin is looking for the move, goes to the outside. And you can make that work if you can get a cutback. If you can force the driver on the inside to brake a little bit later than they want to, you can maybe get the cutback on the exit. But Gilles not making that mistake. Manages to hold the position. And these top 4 are closing up now. X-Energy in 4th is still right on the back of the cars in front. Because everyone's sort of separated into their groups. We've got a battle of 4 at the front, 5th, 6th, 7th basically together. And then Prime Call is just starting to break away as White Champs has got past Jack now on the medium tyres. And now, ooh, Fossey has made a mistake penalty, I'm guessing, based on the lap time. Really easy to do. How soon are they going to be coming in? A couple more laps? 11 maybe? About 10 or 11? I reckon for some of the hard runners to come in. They could maybe come in now, but I'm not sure the mediums would make it. These guys are all sort of spread out a little bit. We've got Tin going for the move into turn to the chicane. Managed to get up into P1 cleanly. It doesn't cost him any time. Ooh, that looks a little bit wide. Sometimes hard to judge from that camera angle. No, all fine. Didn't get a penalty. Now Gilles right behind. Is he going to bump draft? I would expect him to bump draft, especially through the banking. Is he going to pull out in the braking zone, or is he just happy to work together for now? Still a good position for Gilles, up in second, and they're pulling away from a lot of the cars behind. Yeah, pulls to the outside, but maybe more just to get a sort of clean line of sight to the corner, really. It's very easy, especially if you're in the dirty air, to just accidentally rear-end someone and then end up yourself in a bit of a pickle. As we've got X9G, fine with Higgsy. Thinking about going for the move. How's X9G's tyres? Not too bad. 9 laps in. I think he's probably going to need to go hards as well for the second stint. And hards versus softs, that's not going to work out well for him. But he might be happy just to sort of sit in this train and try and pull away from the cars behind. Although it looks fairly static, this gap between 4th and 5th. Scotty maybe not having the best first sector, starting to drop back a little off Ross and Hasseldor. Can't really afford to do that too much. Somebody's in the pits already, and is Aruki's pitted? No, but he's got the fastest lap. That was quite a while ago, actually. Fawcett in onto the medium, so that was end of lap 9, so he's going aggressive with the tyre strategy. Does kind of make sense, because he didn't have any slipstream from a car ahead, so he's not losing anything by pitting and going early onto the mediums. So we'll have to see how the undercut works out for him. Tin looked like he got a really good exit. Gilles not so much, and he's coming under pressure from Higgsy. Isn't that maybe a signal to work together? Could be. Let's see if Higgsy's willing to play ball. Looks like it. And it looks like Ross and Hasseldor made a mistake, probably through the chicane, and there's like Scotty onto the back of him. No changes up here, so let's see if Hasseldor can hold on to this P6. He does, late on the brakes. No, gets it down to the apex nicely. Looked like he was going a little bit deep there. Maybe the Beetle's just a lot better on the brakes than the BMW is. Then we've got a big bit of a change here. Isaac up into 8th on the hard tyres. Getting head whack. Prime Call has either made a mistake or had a fairly chunky penalty. And he's now down into 10th. Okay, so Jack and Astro in the pits at the end of lap 10. Definitely going on to the medium tyres. Haruki's still staying out, 10 laps in. I don't think those tyres can go another 4 laps to have any chance at doing the medium soft strategy. Yeah, X9G the same. He's got to be going on to the hards for the final stint. So we've got Tin, he's pulling away, but not quite enough to break the slipstream. Which is what's really keeping the 3 behind sort of in his toe. Can't quite break the gap. But he definitely looks the fastest out of this front group. Yeah, and you can see X9G is losing time through that chicane there, just having to take it so easy with the tyres. I'd be curious how far he pushes it, because as that gets really close to being fully worn, it's so easy to spin. You don't even have to do anything wrong, and you can just end up spinning, and that's your race over. Certainly race for the podium over. And she'll still sending the message to Higgsy. I think to just work together. Or a thank you for working together. Now sticking right onto the back of Tin. And Tin has been pulling away because his exit onto the oval, he's had a bigger gap than this. So I'll have to see if he can do the same again. There's a battle behind. Scotty looks like he's dropped off the back of that as well. So now it's down to a 2-person fight for P5. Ooh, X9G trying to take advantage in the infield section where the Lambo is going to be a lot stronger. But I think maybe clipping the inside curb there and just unsettled the car. Did well not to lose it, if that's what happened. Yeah, you didn't know what to make of the flashing. Yeah, I never know what it means. I just assume it's trying to tell me something, and then you either do your best to figure it out, or you just do what you were going to do anyway. And yeah, Tin has absolutely pulled away again out of that. So maybe he just gets an insane exit out onto the oval. Let's see if he does it again. Because like I could understand doing it once to let the driver behind know, yeah, no, let's work together, whatever. And then once he's done it, just stop. He's got the message. We're working together. But Higgsy's not really that close behind him now, so it'll be interesting to see if he does it this lap. Doesn't look like it. So he's trying to send some kind of message. Crucially, he's in the slipstream with Tin still, so that wasn't quite enough to get out of the slipstream. Which is a bit unlucky for Tin, because I think if he could break the slipstream, he could have built himself a gap, because he looks like he's got the pace. So X9G's still not coming in. Surely this lap. I wouldn't push them another lap. I really wouldn't be pushing them another lap. So let's stick with Tin. I want to see if is it just his exit onto the oval that's getting him this massive gap, because he's not pulled away massively in the infield section. See how's his exit. Keeps it nice and tight, looks super stable. Yeah, it just looks like he gets an insane exit out onto the oval every lap, but because he can't pull away in the infield section, it's not quite enough. These guys have still got a couple of laps left to go. Evening X9G. You're surviving okay for now on your roasted tyres. Stick with him. Ooh, you can see it sliding. You can see it sliding a lot. Ross and Hasseldorf still keeping up nicely with this. Scotty's going to suffer a little bit because he's lost the slipstream now. But he's got a big gap behind, back to Isaac on the hard tyres. Whack on the mediums. Actually, his tyres are looking pretty worn as well. I thought the McLaren would be... find it easier to go medium soft, but he might not be able to. Be interesting to see that. How's Pyro's tyres looking? Pretty similar. Got Jack, the lead driver, on the medium tyres. Honestly, Fossey's fast enough that he could close that gap still. Astro a little bit off the back, he'll done. X9G didn't pit. This is danger territory with that rear right tyre. Probably won't hurt him much in the infield section, but the chicane is going to be tricky. Nobody else paying. Everybody looks like they've got enough for two. Not enough for two, enough for one more lap. Tin and Gilles could potentially have enough for two more laps, which would make the going on the softs more comfortable. X9G's got plenty of fuel. His issue is the tyres at the moment. You see, he just can't get the power down. He gets it rotated really nicely because he can slide it around, but surely got to be in this lap because they're going to die next lap. 100%. Can he do 9 laps on softs? It's extremely unlikely because his mediums have barely gone 14. Can he survive? Looks okay so far. Yeah, looks okay. Through, he's alive. Tyres didn't die. Did lose a little bit of a gap to Higgsy. Is Higgsy coming in, or is that enough fuel to go for one more lap? Doesn't really look like he's fuel saving. Who's coming in? Tin. Tin's got enough for one more, I think. Gio's got enough for one more. Higgsy coming in, yeah. So, Higgsy, a little bit fuel limited. Has to come in. Is he going to go softs for 9 laps? If I were him, I'd try it. X9G's in as well. Isaac's in off the hard. That's an interesting one. Or maybe he's going hard to soft, potentially. Prime Call keeps going. Whack Jumps keeps going. Yeah, so if Whack Jumps can get to the end of this lap, you should just about be able to make the softs last. It's going to be tight, though. So Whack's fighting for his place in the top 10 at the end of this race, essentially. Ross now up into P3 with Higgsy and X9G pitting. And Gilles still sticking to the back of Tin. You can see the Master just pulls away on the exit of that corner. So where does everybody filter out? So X9G did come out on the hards. Higgsy came out on the softs. So X9G does have a gap, but that is going to come down pretty quickly. 2 compound tyre difference is a chunk of lap time as Pyro recovering from potentially a mistake there. X9G should be able to get this move done, even on the hard tyres. Just needs to be a little bit careful on the exit because they won't be up to temperature. You can hear the tyres squealing a little bit. Then we've got Higgsy on the softs. Pyro should be getting out of his way at the end of this lap, but he definitely will be looking at the fuel and the tyres. Jack on the mediums. Isaac came out. Ooh, Fossey's made a mistake. Possibly on this lap. Yeah, he's made a mistake on this lap. Definitely, because looking at his lap times, just consistent 47s, 8 seconds down. That's going to cost him a lot. Might have cost him the position to Isaac. Probably would have been ahead otherwise. Then we've got Astro and Rukis out on softs. He's going to have to pit again, I'm pretty sure. And we've got everybody else in. Everybody else. So, X9G currently probably set to inherit the race lead. But the question is, for how long? Can he hold everyone off on his hard tyres? Let's keep an eye on the fuel on the left-hand side. Okay, so Tin has stopped refueling. They're out on the exit of the pit lane, but X9G has gone through. How's this going to filter out with Higgsy? Oh, that was a bit, yeah. Yeah, and Higgsy backing out of that one. The move on Gilles was fine, the move on Tin was not. But he's still got tyres that are up to temperature. Admittedly, they're on softs, they won't take a lot of time to come up to temperature. Honestly, they'll be probably fine by the end of the infield section. But kind of had to try. Just slightly overcooked it a little bit. So Astrodor's managed to jump Ross. So the Beetles actually got better fuel than... Well, I mean, you can short shift a lot on the exits, but I didn't think it'd gain that much, especially compared to the GTR, because you can sort of do the same. So, this is in net race order. Jack is up into P7 with the undercut at the moment. Wacky's probably going to catch him on the softs. Scotty again on the softs. That's quite a decent gap, though. Ike's going to struggle unless he can stick in the slipstream really well. Fossey in 12th, so he's definitely not going to be having as good a race as he did in the sprint race. Avaxad, considering he was P2 in the sprint race, has been a bit of a disaster at these couple of races. And Pyro is now out in last on the soft tyres, but I'm not sure Arukis can make it to the end. So let's go and stick with this front battle for a while, because this is going to shake up a lot. Shield's going to push Tin through, or is Higgsy going to come on the inside and push X9G back into second place? Maybe looking at going for the move. Ooh, there's like a little bit of contact with Tim, but Tim managed to survive okay. The big contact was with Gilles. You have to have a look at the onboard to actually see if there's anything properly wrong with that, or if it was just the two lines coming together. Because there are really is a million different ways you can take turn 1 in the braking zone. But X9G being in front of Gilles and Higgsy through the infield section is massive for Tin. If he can break the slipstream, this is his race to lose. Because we're saying that if he could have broken the slipstream in the first stint, I think he could have pulled away. It was really that was keeping Gilles in touch. Looks a little bit tight there. Maybe tighter than he needed to be, but he's well and truly broken the slipstream. And you can see how much it's costing because Hasseldorf's now right onto the back of this sort of top. He's making a top 5 now. Yeah, it's been some good racing so far. A few small incidents, but everyone's taken accountability for it already. I don't think there's anything we've seen that's 100% going in the steward's room. So Shields is past X9G now. Higgsy and Hasseldorf need to do it ASAP, try and stick with Shields. But Tin has used that to great effect and has broken the slipstream. So mistake free. I think he's got the pace to win this one. Fight for P2 is definitely still on. So even X9G's coming back at Shields around the outside. He's going to struggle to A-brake him and definitely going to struggle to get a move done, and that's not going to help. I think he just got a little bit too wide and a bit onto the marbles, and that is a few positions lost, and he's probably going to lose the position to Ross as well before the end of this. Then, luckily for him, there's a bit of a gap that he can sort of settle into. Because I'm not even sure the tyres are going to cross back over between hards and softs. Even fully worn softs are going to be pretty competitive in comparison around here. Because you only need it for the first half of the lap, really. Most of the second half is an oval. Just put your foot down, you'll be fine. But crucially, X9G getting out of this little bit fight for P2, P3 and P4 is that there's nobody in between these guys to spread them out and stop them getting slipstream from each other. Hasseldorf's going to struggle the most. We've seen the top speed of the Beetle not particularly great, but he's done really well. Like, he to qualify second and to finish second in the sprint race, potentially on for a podium in this one. He's done well in the Beetle. Kind of similar with the M6. It's not a great car around here, but it's decent. And like Alessandro said, it's a bit fuel limited. And Higgsy is going to go one lap longer on the tyres than Hasseldorf and Gilles, so that we're going to have to keep an eye on that, see if that becomes an issue at the end. As long as they don't die completely, should be okay. And he's nicely in the slipstream with Gilles. Is Gilles going to flash his hazards now? No. I'm assuming... Oh no, he is. Never mind. Maybe it's just a distraction technique to confuse people. Because there's 4 laps to go. I'm assuming it means work with us to get to the leader. Is it working? Not really. They're basically matching what Tin's doing out in front. Yeah, and Higgsy doesn't look like he's doing any fuel saving at all. He is Hasseldorf doing it because he's got a lot less fuel. He is. But I'm not sure, 100% sure if short shifting is actually the best in the Beetle. I know you can short shift on the exits, but for actual top speed along the straights, I'm not 100% what the best strategy is for that. X9G is still holding on to P5 ahead of Ross on the hard tyres, which is pretty impressive. What kind of lap times is he doing? Well, it was a bad lap on the last lap, 50, but he did a 48 before that. Still a couple of seconds a lap though. But Higgsy's dropped back a little bit. It looks like he's still going to be getting some slipstream from Shields, who still looks like he's outside it from Tin. Hasseldorf right onto the back of Higgsy. This is where the BMW should be good though, getting a good run through the chicane. Still not that close to Shields though. Has Shields broken the slipstream? I'm going to say not quite. But Higgsy's not going to be getting that much of it, so can this give Hasseldorf the opportunities to go for the move? He does. Higgsy goes to the outside. That's an interesting decision. Hasseldorf went deep, but he's managed to hold it. So I'm not sure if that was a strategic decision or he just went to the outside. Didn't care if he got past. Fourth, still a good result. Can't remember, he was I'm pretty sure he did benefit from the reverse grid, because he managed to recover a little bit in the sprint race. But I think he's just struggling. Maybe he just needs to manage the tyres, so he can't fight. But Hasseldorf looks like he's got the pace to go after Gilles. He's pulled away from Higgsy. He's closed in a little bit to Gilles, and I would say Gilles is closed in a tiny bit to Tin on this lap. He doesn't need too much more to get back within slipstream range, which would make a huge difference for his lap time, with 3 laps to go after this one. Now, but these guys are spread out, so let's go and check in with how everyone's doing. X9G is still holding on from Ross barely, but it looks like he's about to lose that position. Yeah, Ross going to be so much later on the brakes through there. Should be able to carry a lot more speed as well. And he does, but X9G gets a decent exit. Might come under pressure, but let's have a quick look back. So Wyke has managed to recover up into P7 after what is his many penalties. Let's hope he don't get any more, because he's got a nice gap behind to Jack, who went aggressive on the tyres, and that looks 3 laps on those tyres. That's going to be tricky. Could be close at the end. We've got X9G trying to go around the outside. We've seen him try and make this work. He just sent him super wide last time. He's learned from that. Managed to just keep it on the track, but has to slot in behind Ross into 6th. Ross's tyres are going to start costing him lap time now, but it shouldn't be enough that hards are faster. It just shouldn't be. X9G might be doing some fuel saving as well. He's got less fuel than the GTR, which usually means you're doing some relatively significant fuel saving. How's the gaps? Hasseldorf's closed right up to the back of Gilles. Gilles still looks like he's just barely outside slipstream range, but he did take 2/10 out of him last lap. I think Tin's still got this, but he can't afford to lose too much more time. And if Hasseldorf gets to the back of Gilles and helps him by bumping him, that could really start closing that gap in. We've only got 2 laps, but it's not impossible for Gilles and Hasseldorf to close this gap and make it a 3-way fight potentially for P1. Oh, we have seen Hasseldorf short shifting and in the Beetle, which doesn't have great top speed, so Arukis has made another mistake, and he's going to have to pit or finish on dead tyres, because they're not going to go to the end. Pyro should be okay to the end, but he's absolutely in middle of no man's land. Astro and Fossey have been together since Fossey's big mistake, so Astro's actually pace must have been pretty good in this stint. Did come in a lap later than Fossey, but 1 lap difference, not going to make that big of a difference at this point. Prime Call made a mistake on a couple of laps ago. There's a lot much. I thought he was higher than that, to be honest. And we've got Arfaxad in 11th. Isaac on the back of this little battle on the medium tyres. Jack on the mediums, Scotty on the softs. Oh, and Jack's gone wide. Too late on the brakes again. That's been his problem this whole race. Whole Daytona race. He was having the problems in the sprint. Now we've actually got a change up front. So, Hasseldorf has got through to the outside. We've seen him make this move around the outside. I think he made it on Higgsy last time we saw it. Is he going to be able to make it work again? He's got to the outside. Doesn't look like he got an amazing exit, but he's pulling perfectly fine. Maybe he's got good acceleration, but no top end. There are some cars that do that. Like Aston Martin because of the setup, but definitely don't think it's got quite the OP acceleration like the Aston does. Now, can Hasseldorf close into Tin? Didn't get a great exit there. Looks like Tin's still got enough of a gap that he's not giving the slipstream, which is big. 5.56. Took half a second out of him on the last lap, but he's only got 1 more lap coming up. And he's going to be pulling away because there's no slipstream help for Hasseldorf, and the Mazda is just faster on the straights. Not really anything you can do about that. Higgs's tyres look like they are just about going to hold on. So he's on for a good P4. Yeah, and his lap times haven't dropped off a massive amount either, really, compared to the guys in front. So I'm surprised he gave up the inside into turn 1, because he maybe could have held off Hasseldorf, to be honest. Ross has pulled away from X9G. Honestly, still a good job from X9G doing the medium to hard strategy, getting 6. He's not miles away from the lead. Obviously had the pace to go for the win, but couldn't do the strategy. Wacky's going to be struggling on those tyres come the end of the race. So that's not safe. Ooh, Hasseldorf going wide into turn 1. Gives Shields the opportunity to come alongside. Can Shields do to Hasseldorf what he did to him a lap ago? Nope, doesn't do it. Goes back to the apex. Honestly, given how bad the top speed of the Beetle is, the GTR could just out-drag it to the line. Depends what point the Beetle hits its brick wall and just will not go faster no matter what. Tyres, basically the same. Don't think anybody's going to be struggling on fuel. They're all almost identical. Tin should have this in the bag now. That is a bigger gap than it was earlier. So he's pulled away on this lap. So that'll be a good result for Tin. I think it was P3 in the sprint race, or P3 or P2. Can't remember. But he's going to get the win in this feature race, as long as he doesn't mess up the chicane. Yeah, Rukus on a dead tyre. Wouldn't be surprised if he waited for the leaders to come round just so he doesn't have to do another lap. Yeah, you sort of tell. Because you were closing in on Tin until this last lap, and then maybe you've sort of... The front tyres are a little bit more worn. Maybe there's another bit of a performance drop when you get to like 10-15%. So, is Shields going to be able to get this move done? Hopefully Arukis doesn't come into this, but let's go on board with Tin. He's going to take the win. Great win there for Tin. Shields does manage to get second on the run to the line. Beetle's top speed, holding him back there. Higgsy does get 4th. Tyres do make it to the end. Ross getting P5 and a solid result for Ross. Probably one of his best results of the season. His tyres did die, but he managed to hold on to 7th anyway. Then we've got Isaac spinning over the line. Arfaxad just in front of Jack, whose tyres barely made it. Prime Call looks like he might lose the position to Astro. He did. So what happened there? Is the Audi top speed really that good? Like, this is just the run to the line. Prime Call's out of fuel. Thought it must be something. It was just so weird. Fossey maybe pushed the tyres a little bit too far. Had some sort of mistake on this last lap. It's going to cost him only 14th in this one. And Pyro's tyres are dead as well. So I think 3 cars finishing on a completely dead tyre. So Tin takes the win. It's going to be big for his championship. Something I didn't mention is that Mighty Mini or Harry Miles, championship leader, not here for this round. So it's a big opportunity for the guys to gain. X9G, I think, was closest. Tin was trying to work his way into the top 3. So let's see how everything shook out after Daytona. This is going to be after whatever stewards result came out. I'm not sure how many there were. Okay, this is the latest ones. Here we go. Yeah, that's after Daytona. Tier 2. Here we go. Oh, go away. There we go. Okay, so, yeah, X9G does move into the leader championship. 5th and 6th after qualifying last is a pretty decent result. Only a 5-point lead, though, over Mighty Mini, who missed this round. So he'll be looking to bounce back at the next one. Should be good at Sardinia as well. So then, Mighty Mini does hold on to P2. Tin does work his way into P3 in the championship. Only 13 points off the lead. So, good result. Back into the championship fight properly now. Then Jack with a bit of a struggle. Kind of expected. But looked like there was more promise just based on where he was in the race at times. 12th and 11th in that one. He's still only 14 points out of the championship though. Very much in it. Then we've got Scotty, Ross, Astro, Hasseldorf, who was a reserve, I think, not the next race in Sardinia, but the one after that at Monza, he's a full-time driver, so he should be there every week. So we get to see more of Vassador fighting up at the front. Then we've got Higgsy 9th and Arfaxad in 10th. So, constructors as well. Ferrari still got a chunky lead, 42 points. Then it's close between BMW, Mazda and Lambo's, only separated by 8 points. So it's a close Constructors' Championship fight. So we'll have to see how that's shaping up after Sardinia, which should be hopefully tomorrow. So thanks for joining me for this one. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. See ya.